Thought I'd give you a little different sort of background view, different sort of video today. I want to discuss the value of the continuum, or as some folks in the quantum grammar domain call it, the now space. What is the value of the now space? Well, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you will know that when I used to do live streams, I would never publish them because I wanted to impress upon people the value of the now space. Of course, I have since adjusted that practice, and now when I do a live stream, I make it available to the members of my channel. The live stream itself is available to the public. Anybody who wants to watch it can come and watch it. But if you want to rewatch it, i.e. watch it again, you have to be a member. So the value of the now space, the value of the continuum, the reason why I do the things I do, like for example, when I have a workshop with a student in the confidential, a 60-minute class, I do not consent to the recording of that class. Now, people might say, well, why won't you record it? What's wrong? What are you afraid of? It's nothing like that. Folks, I've been teaching correct sentence structure, communication, PARSE, syntax, grammar for 8 years. There's really not much out there that's going to rattle me, and there's certainly nothing that you can say to me that's going to rattle me. I've pretty much heard everything there is to hear from all different folks, from the most famous, highest level folks to the lowest. It doesn't matter who you are. I've heard it. The reason I do not consent to the recording of a consultation or of a workshop is because I want to vet out those folks who are serious about learning this. Because if you're serious about learning this grammar, one thing you have to learn is the value of the now space and being able to think on your feet. It's the same thing with some seminars that I do and some special question and answer things that I'll do from time to time. Sometimes I will say, yes, I will record this and I will make the recording available, especially if value has been given to me and I have given my word that there will be a recording and the students and the participants have already invested a minimum donation and they put value in, and I tell them the value they're going to get back. I will make sure the recording is available to them. Normally, that's not my normal way to do things. My normal way to do things is to not permit recording and not give recordings, because if someone goes into a situation, a learning situation like school, a class, and they know there's going to be a recording available, they have a tendency to slack off. They have a tendency to get lazy about it because they know they can listen to it later. And we can just look at the last few years of these Zoom classroom things that would happen and see good examples of that. But even so, this is even more critical and more important with correct sentence structure, communication, PARSE, syntax, grammar. Because folks, if you are ever, and I'm speaking to the beginners out there, if you are ever going to learn this and ever going to actually use it in a quote-unquote real-life scenario, under duress, in a foreign vessel and dry dock scenario, i.e. a courtroom, you're not going to have a phone to look at so that you can look up what you need to say. You're not going to have an etymology dictionary with you, I don't think, and be able to look up words. The only thing you're going to have, probably, is your document, contract, postal vessel, court, venue, and what's up here. Okay? You're going to have to think on your feet and be there in the moment. It's like when I do my workshops, I do send out worksheets for folks to look at. And some folks will send that stuff back to me and say, you know, I did the work, I completed it here, have a look at it. I don't even look at it because it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is what they can do in the workshop, in the continuum, in the domain of the now space. It doesn't matter what they put on paper a week ago. It matters what they can do right now. And that's what I'm trying to impress upon you, the viewer, the beginner. Yes, you can take notes. Yes, this and that and the third. You can study. That's good. That's all well and fine. But if you cannot bring that into your mind and use it in a practical fashion in a now space scenario without having to look at a phone or look at a tablet or a notebook, then what good is it for you? What value do those notes have? None, because you haven't learned it. So the more you do things and pay attention and exist in the now space and let that sink in and retain that, the better you'll be at doing this grammar off the top of your head. Boom, syntax off the top of your head. Boom, create a correct sentence structure off the top of your head. Boom, spout, rattle off etymology, Proto-Indo-European roots of words. I mean, that's how it's done and the best way to do it. Because again, folks, you're not going to be able, probably not going to have your notebooks available, your video recordings available. I mean, I understand there are some, I wouldn't have been able to do this without learning from David-WYNN Miller's seminars and, a couple Russell J. Gould seminars prior to 2016. I wouldn't have been able to do this without learning that stuff, of course. That's why there's over 1,000 free videos on this channel, the channel you're watching right now. Over 1,000 videos. So if you've ever been to a seminar of mine, if you've ever done a workshop with me, if you've ever been to one of the random Q&A sessions I do for groups, and you don't have a recording of that moment, there's over 1,000 videos here on the YouTube channel. Anything that I talked about regarding correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, in any workshop, any seminar, any Q&A session, it's available for free right here. All you have to do is put the work in and look it up. So that's the value of the now space, folks. That's why I do things the way I do them. For the most part, there is no recording of any video of things that I do because that's part of the learning process for the student. It's the same thing with martial arts. It's the analogy that I use. You can go to a martial arts gym, train all you want to, but if you don't spar, if you don't actually get on the mat, put the gloves on, get punched in the face, get choked out, get an arm bar, get in a leg lock, get twisted up like a pretzel, get your nose broke. Well, I mean, you don't have to get your nose broke, folks. I've had my nose broke several times. I had to have a sinus operation because of it, actually. But I mean, if you don't experience these things, then if you're out there in the world, in the street, and these things happen, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. You may think you can, but it's not going to magically appear. And it's the same thing with correct sentence structure. If you don't use it in the now space, constantly practice it every single day, it's not going to magically appear for you in one day when you're suddenly put in that situation unexpectedly. You're not going to be prepared for it. That's all there is to it. Repetition is the mother of technique, as my boxing coach once told me back in the early 1990s. And I do follow that principle because you have to keep practicing. I mean, geez Louise, look at all these lawyers and attorneys out here making all this money running a law practice. They're still practicing, folks. They practice law. They're not masters of it. No, they're practitioners. It's like going to Little League practice during the week. That's what they're doing. They're not masters, because if they were masters, they wouldn't say they were practicing. All right, that's just a little humor at the end here. But folks, please, I hope you take the value from this and apply it to your own lives. I hope that you write to me at the email address at the bottom of your screen and decide to learn correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar for yourself. Because it's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it.